If you get these 5 signs, understand that the person is deeply attached to you. There are people who pass through our lives like trains through a station. A blur, a name, a memory that fades. And then there are those who settle into the small rooms of your mind. They don't announce themselves. They don't make grand declarations. Yet their presence is everywhere. In the shape of your silence, in the tiny rituals you don't even notice. If you start to see these 5 quiet signs, the way a person lingers in your life without saying it out loud, understand this: they are deeply attached to you. Not because of a dramatic confession, but because attachment is often woven from small, steady threads. Listen closely. Subscribe now to Psych Secrets and be part of a journey where every video inspires you to see life with a new perspective. Sign 1. They remember the little things, always. Imagine a rainy evening. You mention, almost in passing, that your grandmother used to make lemon tea with a pinch of cardamom. Weeks later, a message arrives. Found a shop that sells cardamom. Tried a tea for you. This is not coincidence. When someone cares deeply, their memory becomes a map. They collect the small facts about you like breadcrumbs. The song you hum when anxious, the brand of soap you prefer, the name of your childhood street. Not to use them as ammunition, but to build a map back to you over and over. Why it matters. Remembering small details is a form of emotional labor. It means they pay attention when you speak, not just to reply, but to file away pieces of you. That file becomes the quiet engine of attachment, a slow, deliberate archive of who you are. Tip for narration: slow, intentional delivery here. Let each example sit like a hand tracing a photograph. Sign 2. They show up not for the applause but for the quiet. People who are attached don't only come when it's easy. They show up in the gray places. During your late-night panic, when a plan falls apart, when you ask for nothing and mean even less. They show up without fanfare. They arrive with thermos in hand, with a single umbrella, with the awkward but sincere offer, "Do you want me to stay?" Their presence is not dramatic. It's steady. The kind of presence that makes the loneliness shrink simply because someone else occupies the same room with you. Why it matters. Dependable presence rewires your internal weather. Science calls it co-regulation. Poetry calls it home. Either way, consistent presence is the language of attachment, and it's often quieter than a confession, yet louder in its effect. Example vignette. A message at 2 a.m. that says, "I'm awake if you need to talk." No pressure, no expectation, just a light left on. Sign 3. They protect your boundaries gently and firmly. True attachment doesn't mean possession. It often looks like guarding your peace. They defend what you need not by policing your choices, but by creating conditions where your well-being is easier to sustain. This could be as simple as stepping between you and a toxic conversation, or as complex as refusing to participate in gossip that targets you. It could be them saying, "If you're not comfortable, I won't share that," and actually keeping that promise. Why it matters. Protection without control is rare. When someone is attached, they learn the difference between wanting you and wanting what's best for you. Theirs is a loyalty that privileges your autonomy. That kind of attachment matures beyond selfish desire. Narration note: warm, slightly firm tone. Emphasize the difference between guarding and owning. Sign 4. They invest time in your growth, not just your company. Attachment shows up in long-term investment. They are the person who learns the language of your fears and refuses to feed them. They encourage small steps. A class you wanted to take, a dream you hesitated to say aloud, and then they show interest the next week and the week after. This isn't transactional. It's the slow work of planting and watering. They celebrate not just when you shine, but when you try. They keep track of progress because your growth matters to them, not as a reflection of their worth, but because they want you to become more of yourself. Why it matters. People who are attached see you as a timeline, not a moment. They are patient with process. This is attachment that aligns with loving kindness, the spiritual form of caring that wishes for another's flourishing. Example, they remember the small win you thought was insignificant, and they treat it like a festival. Sign 5, they are comfortable with silence, not because they're distant, but because they're settled. Attachment often sounds like silence, not the awkward silence of two strangers, but the comfortable hush of two souls that don't need to fill every second. They can be with you and not perform. They can share space and not script it. If someone can sit beside you while you read, while you cry, while you stare out the window, and they are entirely present, that is profound. It implies trust, it implies acceptance, and most of all, it implies a deep inner calm around you. Why it matters. Silence that soothes is an advanced form of attachment. It means they don't require constant affirmation. They rest in you and they allow you to rest in them. Vignette idea. Two people on a train at night, streetlights flickering. The world passes, but the room they share is whole. How to recognize and how to respond. When these signs appear, your first impulse might be to test them, to ask for proof, to look for the overt declaration you expect. Don't. Attachment is not always loud. It is more often patient and patient-making. If you recognize these signs, respond with clarity and kindness. If you feel the same, return the small rituals. Remember them back, show up when you can, protect their quiet, celebrate their small wins, and learn to sit in silence together. If you don't feel the same, be gentle. Attachment can be a tender burden, and it deserves honesty wrapped in care. Letting someone know your truth is not cruelty if it's done with compassion. Psychological note, softly said attachment is different from dependence. Attachment respects boundaries. Dependence demands them. Aim for attachment that frees both of you. A little spiritual medicine. There is a spiritual rhythm to mutual attachment. It asks us to move from who completes me to who keeps me safe to become myself. The person who is deeply attached offers this safety. They do not erase your loneliness, but they make it bearable. A human hand in the dark. Practice. Close your eyes and remember one small sign someone has shown you recently. A remembered detail, a message at midnight, a boundary defended, a gentle encouragement, or a quiet silence. Hold that memory. Breathe. Gratitude will often reveal whether the attachment was mutual. Closing, slow. Rising piano. Attachment is a quiet architecture, built of small bricks. Memory, presence, protection, investment, silence. If you notice these 5 signs, you are witnessing the slow, honest work of a heart choosing to stay. Honor it. Name it if you must, or simply let it be the soft background that steadies your days. If this touched you, if it made a corner of your chest ache in a good way, tell me in the comments which sign surprised you most. Subscribe now to Psych Secrets and be part of a journey where every video inspires you to see life with a new perspective.